I have come to a place that a lot of people on the Isle of Man know and love. We are at Millennium, Oakwood. I'm here with Andrew, and Andrew, just remind people, for those that are maybe new to the island or don't remember, this is quite a historically important place on the Isle of Man, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, I've only been here 12 years, so it's before my time. But yeah, March 2000, this site was planted by schoolchildren from all over the island. So it means a lot to a lot of people, yeah.
It's called Millennium Oakwood. It is full of trees, but quite a lot of them just don't seem to have taken necessarily. They don't seem to have grown like you might have thought they would. Do we know why that is?
Well, there's a few reasons. Firstly, we'll start with how the site was designed and established. So a guy called Cedric Quayle, who's a proud Manxman but lives in Worcestershire, collected the seed from a wood near his house, and he sent the acorns back over for island children to put into pots and to grow on. Unfortunately, we don't know the exact species of oak that was used, and the provenance, if it was from Worcestershire, might not be exactly right for the island. So that's one reason. And then we had quite a lot of mammal damage from rabbits, and then unfortunately a little bit of neglect as well on our part. The weeds sort of took over, and you get that when you try and establish trees on greenfield sites, fertile soil, and the vegetation just competes. So but you know, we're looking to get in there and get things right this time, yeah.
Well, let's walk up and we'll walk and talk so we can have a look here. And there is actually a big sign on the gate of Millennium Oakwood here, and it says, "What's going on?" Because there is a lot that's going to be going on. So if we look at this here, it mentions there's going to be new tree planting, talks about a car park extension, path maintenance. With regards to what it's going to look like then, you're basically taking what's already there and improving, or are there going to be drastic changes?
No drastic changes, just improving what's already there. So we've been working with the community service team. We've been working with them for a number of months, and you'll have noticed they've been taking back some of the vegetation that started to encroach on the paths.
Now, path maintenance is a big thing, isn't it? Because I think it's safe to say when it's a little bit damp today, when it's very rainy, it's a bit muddy, isn't it?
Yeah, the paths have degraded quite a lot from their original state. So that's down to use, it's down to the weather. So yeah, we're going to try and reinstate the paths to their former glory. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be starting using contractors as well, so you really start to see a change.
Excellent. Well, let's go in. I can see what I love about this place every time I come here. Happy dogs everywhere. Do you think that's had anything to do with the degradation, though?
Well, it certainly gets a lot of use, and the dogs have they have a tendency to go at the tree tubes, so that hasn't helped. But you know, it's great that so many people use the site, and we don't want to discourage people from coming here. So yeah.
No, some of the trees have grown quite a bit, but there are just still some that just look like saplings, don't they?
So in the more sheltered parts of the sites now, we're starting to see what we call canopy closure. So trees growing up to the former sort of thicket. So yeah, in some sort of parts of the site, it looks and feels like a proper woodland. I noticed on the sign at the front there, you're talking about different species of tree. So what are you looking to plant? So when the site was originally planted, it was 100% oak. Like I say, we're not quite sure whether that was Quercus robur or Quercus petraea. But now we're going to try and introduce a wider range of species. So we be focusing on natives and things that complement the oak. So that will be birch, hazel, and say field maple.
And I'm guessing then it's going to be quite a long time before we actually see these trees in sort of all their glory, because they do take quite a long time to grow, don't they?
Well, the first 3 years are critical. If we can get establishment in the first 3 years, then we should see fairly quick growth, especially with things like birch, which are known pioneer species and will grow quite quickly.
And so what's happening here, because there's sort of patchy areas here, is this where you've already started the work?
So this is where we've taken some trees that weren't doing very well out, and we're just preparing the planting spots for the new trees to go in this winter.
And as well, at the sign at the front, it mentioned a car park extension. Is that right? What's going to happen in the car park?
So as you could see today, it's fairly full, and that's pretty much all the time. We've got space for 12 cars at the minute down the current car park. We're going to be extending that to hopefully 26 spaces plus 3 disabled spaces, but that's all subject to planning permission, and but I hope that won't be an issue.
Because it is a busy area with regards to businesses as well now, isn't there?
Yeah, you get people walking from local businesses and the hospital for their, lunchtime walk. But we also get people, local residents, walking. And so we'll also be improving the pedestrian access from the Ballafletcher Farm Road to make it easier for local residents to walk up into the site.
And obviously with the trees, that'll take a few years. But what sort of timescale are we looking at for those changes?
Those will hopefully be done by the end of this financial year, so March 2021.
Excellent. Well, I have to say, it's so lovely coming through here again. And you don't have to just be walking dogs. I mean, if we go up this way, when we get to the top of this particular path, there's even a lovely structure, isn't there, in the middle of the park here?
Yes, the orrery. Yes, the sword through the orrery, which was symbolic at the time of the Isle of Man being at the centre of things in the year 2000. Yeah.
As we come up to the brow, you can see these are definitely some of the trees that haven't necessarily taken. So what will happen? Will they actually be dug up, or?
So we're looking to replant 1,000 trees this year. So we've started removing some trees on the other side of the hedge, and we'll be preparing the planting spots. But we're only going to do 1,000 at a time, so you won't see a drastic change.
Only 1,000 at a time. How many are actually in here?
Oh, I would guess in the order of 15,000. I'm not sure exactly, to be honest. But yeah, there's a lot.
So essentially this place is eventually going to just be much fuller, it's going to be much greener, it's going to be an improvement, isn't it, Andrew?
Yeah, it is. I mean, what we want to see is like the woodland that we've just walked through at the bottom there. We want to see that all over the site, that canopy closure, and greater benefits for wildlife and people. Yeah.
Yep, happy people, happy children, and happy dogs. Like, I'm watching them running all over the park at the minute, and it is always a joy. Andrew, lovely to talk to you. If anyone wants to find out more about what you're doing, is there anywhere they can go?
We'll keep you updated on our Facebook page, DEFA Hills, Forests and Glens.